And welcome back to Aftershock Wrestling Entertainment Podcast. Welcome back to the Allcast. I am your host, Brent Fowler, and I'm happy to be back with you as we're going to talk about some Money in the Bank, some AEW, New Japan, Forbidden Door, John Cena, and more. But before we do that, I do want to remind you that you can find past episodes of the show at allpodcast.com. That's awepodcast.com. That will take you to the YouTube channel where you can watch all the past episodes there. Or if you're an audio fan, audio listener, you can check it out at allpodcast.com/show or find it on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can also follow me across social media at the Allcast, and of course, subscribe to the newsletter at allpodcast.com/subscribe. So, let's get into some wrestling. First of all, I'm recording this on Wednesday night, but I have not watched this week's Dynamite yet. So I don't know what occurred during Blood and Guts and all of that. So I'm not going to talk about this week's Dynamite on this episode just because I don't know what's going on. So I wanted to wait and watch that. But I definitely wanted to record this so I could get it up before Saturday with Money in the Bank. I also, speaking of Money in the Bank, haven't obviously watched SmackDown yet. So I don't know one of the participants in the match, the men's ladder match, yet. So that will be a factor that I can't really consider with my prediction. So I just want to put that out there. But let's talk about Monday Night Raw just for a second, because it was John Cena's 20th anniversary. He returns to WWE. It was supposed to be this big celebration, and it was fine. It was cool. It wasn't anything major. It was, a trip down memory lane as you got to see video packages of John Cena's debut and key moments in his career and things that he's done. He interacted with everybody backstage at different points in time, and that was fun. It was fun to watch, especially like Dolph Ziggler acting like he didn't really want to hug him, that kind of stuff. And, I felt like the altercation, the meeting between him and Theory was way watered down. It could have been a lot stronger. It could have been something else. And I was a little bit disappointed by the way that was handled. I thought John Cena, what he said when he came out to the ring was fine. And it was inspirational. Factoid for you. I am 1 month older than John Cena. He was born in April. I was born in March. And so it's inspiring to see all the success that he has and everything that he's been able to accomplish in his life. It's a cool message. He's a busy guy. He does a lot. He knows what he wants. He goes after it. And I do respect that. Love him or hate him, you got to respect that. So it was cool to see former WWE stars that are with AEW, contracted with AEW, pop up on the screen. So I thought that was nice. I read after that WWE had contacted Tony Khan and asked for permission. All were approved. So we got to see Chris Jericho, The Big Show, and Daniel Bryan all talk about John Cena, which I thought was a really nice gesture and a little goodwill built between the two companies. So I thought that was cool. And I'm glad that we are in an environment where we can do that. Those things can happen. And I think that's really cool. And who knows? Maybe we'll see more. Maybe the Forbidden Door really is gone. I don't know. It's probably wishful thinking. But who knows? We'll see what happens. But I thought it was fine. It was fine, right? I was hoping for a little bit more. John Cena kind of teased that he would return to the ring and it would be for more than one match, but he doesn't know when that's going to happen. Who knows? I think he probably does know, and he's just not telling us because it's, saving it for WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something like that. There was a piece of me that was like, oh, maybe he's going to be in the Money in the Bank match. Maybe he's going to show up at Money in the Bank, but he's got stuff going on. But it was fine. It was fine. Okay. Other than that, Raw was Raw. Qualifying matches and so on and so forth. Decent episode of Raw. So, yeah, that's Raw. But let's get back into Forbidden Door. So on last episode, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because I do want to get into the Money in the Bank stuff. But last episode, I gave my predictions for AEW Forbidden Door. And there were a couple of matches I wasn't aware of on the pre-show or the buy-in. So I did not give predictions for those. And there were a couple of injuries or replacements or last-minute changes to matches that I also was not aware of. So that didn't, factor into my predictions either. But I think overall of the ones that I did predict, I might have missed 2 or 3. And so it was pretty solid predictions on my part. Once again, with AEW, I tend to do better with AEW than I do with WWE. So we'll see what happens with Money in the Bank later. But let's get into some of those matches. So on the pre-show, we had several matches. We had Chaos, which is Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi versus the Factory, QT Marshall and Aaron Solo, which that was one match I did not know of. I would have predicted the outcome for this, though, that Chaos did defeat the Factory. It was QT Marshall. I think he even messed up the QT special. So, but man, his hair's really coming in nicely. So kudos to him for that. But yeah, that was that. Lance Archer defeated Nick Comoroto. I didn't know about that match either. I would have predicted that as well because Lance Archer is just a bigger star. Nick Comoroto, while I did see him, I forget which promotion it was, but I saw him come out there and propose, and it was a little bit more personality than we've ever seen him exhibit in AEW, unless he does on Dark. I don't know. I don't watch Dark. But I would like to see more of that side of Nick Comoroto, though. But yeah, this was just 2 big guys wrestling a short match and win as would have been predicted. So we had a Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee versus Suzuki Gun, El Desperado, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And I don't remember if that was announced when I made my predictions. I don't think it was. If it was, I probably predicted the outcome of Swerve and Our Glory defeating them. But I honestly don't remember. But I like the team of Swerve and Our Glory. And I like that they included Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs kind of ragging on them, saying you haven't beaten us yet, and still continuing that feud. I would have rather Keith Lee and Swerve, being as big as they are, have been on the main show. I think that would have been better and better served for them, but I'm glad we get to see a cool match with them at the very least. Max Caster and the Gun Club defeated Alex Coughlin, Kevin Knight, and the DKC and Yuya Umira in an 8-man tag match. I think I predicted that the Gun Club would lose this one, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I didn't write my predictions down, and I did not go back and check them to make sure. But I think that I predicted them getting defeated. But they actually won. So they're continuing to build some momentum for Max Caster and the Gun Club. So that's pretty cool. So. All right, so getting into that main card, we got the Jericho Appreciation Society, who faced. This was one of those matches that had a change in card, I believe. I don't remember, honestly. I think it was Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara teaming up with Minoru Suzuki to take on Shota Umino, Wheeler Yuta, and Eddie Kingston. I think this was supposed to be an 8-on-8, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was always a 6-on-6, and I'm thinking of a different match. Either way, the JAS won the match, which I thought would happen to propel into Blood and Guts. I thought Jericho Appreciation Society would take the victory here, and leading to Eddie Kingston's team winning Blood and Guts. So if you've seen Dynamite, you know whether I was right about that or not. But either way, I did predict this one correctly, that Jericho's team won. FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood were facing United Empire and Roppongi Vice in a 3-way for 2 different titles, Ring of Honor Tag Team titles and the IWGP Championships. And FTR defeated everybody. And I'm pretty sure I predicted that as well. So Pac is your first inaugural AEW All-Atlantic champion. There was a change in this match. It was supposed to be Tomohiro Ishii, and he was replaced at the last minute by Clark Connors. who I'd never seen before, but my prediction would have remained at first. During the match, I thought they were going to fool me and Miro was going to take it, but ultimately Pac did win, so I did predict that one correctly. Darby Allin, this was one that was also changed. I forget who got injured in this. It was somebody on Sting's side. I forget the name of the wrestler, but it was supposed to be a four. This was the one that was supposed to be a 4-on-4 and ended up being a 6-man. So Darby Allin, Sting, and Shingo Tagagi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, versus the Young Bucks and El Fantasmo. Hikuleo was ringside. He was supposed to be in that match. I do want to talk about this match just for one thing that happened, but Darby Allin's team won, which, again, I think I also predicted. Sting's leap off the tunnel, the top of the tunnel, I thought that was really cool. I mean, when they did the lights off and Sting appeared in the rafters and all that stuff, at first I was like, is he really going to, come down from the rafters again like he used to? But then they swerved this and did the leap off the thing, and I'm just thinking the whole time as I'm watching this, and I think I audibly cheered for it, and it was like, man, Sting is 63 years old. He's leaping off of the top of the tunnel onto these guys. It was impressive, and it was cool, and it was fun to watch. So, yeah, there was that. Some cool super kick spots in this match, too. And of course, the cool classic no selling by Sting, doing the chest beat and all that stuff. It was fun. It was fun. And you knew El Fantasma was going to pay for all the mocking that he was doing. This was one I did get wrong. Thunder Rosa defeated Toni Storm to retain her AEW Women's Championship. I thought Toni Storm... I think I went out on a limb and said I'm going to go with Toni Storm, even though I'm not sure it's the right call to make. But I did think that Toni Storm would win, and Thunder Rosa is still your champion. Will Ospreay defeated Orange Cassidy to retain the IWGP United States Championship. I thought Orange Cassidy would win this one, and you'd continue this on. But it really could have gone either way with this one as well. And it was a fantastic match. So much fun. And then Brian Danielson's replacement. I still had him stuck in my head from Raw, which everybody predicted it was going to be this guy. I predicted it was going to be this guy. And I'll say his name right this time. Claudio Castagnoli defeated Zack Sabre Jr., and now he would go on to Blood and Guts tonight to join Eddie Kingston's team. But the interesting thing about this was it happened later on, and I'll talk about it in just a second with Eddie Kingston and Claudio. So then we had Jay White facing Kazuchika Okada, Adam Cole, and Adam Page in a 4-way. And I really wasn't sure who was going to take this. It was for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, so I went back and forth. I wasn't sure. I don't remember exactly who I predicted. I think I went out on a limb and said Adam Page. But Jay White retained, which makes sense. Again, this is one of those, I think it could have been Jay White, Okada, or Page. I didn't think it would be Cole, but I thought it could be any of those three. But ultimately, it was Jay White who retained his title. And then Jon Moxley defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi as predicted to win the interim AEW World Championship. So the thing I referenced before was the interesting thing with Claudio at the end of this, when everybody came out and brawled and everything, and Eddie Kingston's like just yelling at Moxley, how could you go behind my back and get Claudio? And Moxley's just smiling and laughing like, dude, you're way overreacting. And he's like, the whole time they're celebrating in the ring, Claudio's just like ignoring all of this, and he's just focused on what he's doing. And Eddie Kingston just outside of the ring refuses to even get in. It's just yelling, screaming. And Moxley's just smiling like, dude. And it was funny. It was hilarious, and I want to see how that plays out going into Dynamite, because there is history there. So, yeah, that's Forbidden Door. Let's get into our main topic right after this break. Well, actually, you're not hearing that. I don't know why I said that. I never do that. I'm recording the video live with no edit. So this would be where I put in a break to do the ad spot in the audio version. So I apologize for that. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, let's get into Money in the Bank. So let's talk about these matches, and I will share my predictions again. There is a final participant in the men's ladder match that will be determined on SmackDown this Friday night. I did not want to wait until late Friday night to record this because nobody get a chance to watch it or listen to it before Money in the Bank Saturday. So keep that in mind that there could be, a factor that I can't consider popping up into that match. So I'm going to lay out the matches and then I'll get my predictions. So we've got the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair defending against Carmella. We got the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, the Usos defending against the Street Profits. United States Championship, Theory is defending against Bobby Lashley. We got let's see. Did I say that one? Oh, I missed that one. I knew I missed one. Sorry. SmackDown Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey defending against Natalya. And then we have the two Money in the Bank ladder matches. And there haven't been any matches on pre-shows for the past few premium live events. So I don't know that there would be on this one either. I haven't heard any announced. And so we've basically got 6 matches on this card. So we have the 2 matches, the women's, which is Becky Lynch, who qualified on Raw, the last one to fill in there. Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Shotzi, and Lacey Evans. That's your field for the women's. And then the men's, we've got Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, Riddle, and someone to be determined on SmackDown this week. So let's dive into these. United States Championship, Theory, Bobby Lashley. This feud's been going on for a while. Theory's been getting the upper hand, but Theory is the hot commodity right now, right? He's got the big push. Even though he's been getting the better of Bobby at every turn, I don't see them taking the strap off him. But what do you do with Bobby, too? It's like Bobby's not going to be in the world title picture anytime soon because Roman Reigns got that all wrapped up. So what do? Do you give him the United States Championship and have Theory chase it? Or, does that take some of the luster off of Theory's run? This is actually a hard one to call. I don't really know which direction they're going to go with it, but my gut tells me that somehow Theory is going to retain that title. I don't know how, by hook or crook. Something's going to happen, some kind of interference maybe. Alpha Academy gets involved, or he cheats some way, somehow, count out, disqualification, whatever it may be. I think Theory walks away with that title still around his waist. That's what my gut's telling me, so that's what I'm going to go with. We got the undisputed tag team champions, Usos and the Street Profits. The Usos have had an iron-tight grip on those titles, but the Street Profits are up and they want the smoke. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. But this is tough though. Do you take gold off of the bloodline right now, especially with Roman Reigns not present as much? He's not going to be there every week. Not going to be there every pay-per-view. Do you take gold off the Usos? I don't think so. As much, it's hard though because the Street Profits, they have been on a roll. They definitely deserve some of that shine. I would like to see them defeat the Usos. Will they? I don't think it's time yet. I think the bloodline's going to continue riding high. So I think the Usos retain. Some way, somehow, the Usos retain. Then we've got the SmackDown Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. I think this one's a foregone conclusion. Natalya's not winning the title. Ronda Rousey is going to win. I wish they played more into the history between these two instead of just, cheap insults back and forth. Gone into the storyline aspect of Natalya training her and getting her ready and them being friends and all that stuff. I wish they played into that because it would have made this match mean something. Instead, they did the cheap insult route, and it just, I don't know. It's one of those matches you should care about because Natalya is phenomenal in the ring, but you don't. She has no chance. So, yeah, Ronda Rousey retains. So far, no championships are changing hands, and I don't think that's going to change because the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair defending against Carmella. Again, no way Carmella's winning that title. There's just no way. You're not going to take that strap off Bianca Belair. The only thing I could see happening, and this will go into prediction for the next match, so I won't even go there. But I think there's no way that Carmella wins that title unless there's like massive interference and you're doing Money in the Bank cash in right away. Speaking of women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Shotzi, and Lacey Evans. Of all these women, I mean, Becky Lynch is the favorite. It's predictable. It's the safe route to go. Does Becky need the Money in the Bank briefcase to be able to challenge for the title? No. But would it give her the opportunity to do it without another fair fight one-on-one match with Bianca Belair? Yes. And so my gut is telling me Becky Lynch wins, cashes in on Bianca same night. I think that's what's going to happen. Or it could be interesting that she cashes in and loses, and then she just that's rock bottom. She goes nuts because she just can't get that title back. I think that would be an interesting route to go. But then there's part of me that wants Liv Morgan to win that case, but I just don't think it's quite her time yet, and if it is, it's going to be like a Dolph Ziggler situation where she's champion for a minute and then loses it immediately on Raw the next, a couple nights later. Of all these women in this match, it's like Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan are the ones that you think would probably, I mean, Asuka maybe as well. I don't see them going there with Shotzi or Raquel, but with the Money in the Bank briefcase, you typically put it on somebody, unless you're going to do an instant cash in, you typically put it on somebody that you can build into a long-term story. And so if they're doing that with the women's match, then I would think it would be Liv or Raquel, I think. But I think they're going to go for the fast cash in with the women's. So I think Becky Lynch wins and cashes in on Bianca. But we'll see. So with the men's, then you're probably going to do more long-term. So you've got, it's an interesting grouping for this particular match. Because typically when you do a Money in the Bank match, and when they were the most popular is when you had you had a good mix of types of wrestlers. So you had some high flying stuff. You still had some power guys, but this one it's a lot of big guys. You got Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Omos in here, which are all really big guys. And then you got Seth Rollins and Riddle, who are kind of in between. They've got the power game and some speed and high flying, high impact moves. And then you got Sami Zayn, who's kind of I don't even know what you call Sami Zayn. He's just like I don't mean this in an insulting way, but he's like a typical wrestler. It's not like he doesn't specialize in mat skills or high flying skills. He's not a power guy. He's just he's more of a well-rounded kind of performer. And so you don't have a lot of big spot guys in this match. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this, but I think you go long-term. I don't think Omos wins it. He doesn't need it. If he's going to go for a world title, he doesn't need to have a briefcase to do it. He can just walk in and demand it and whatever. But I don't think he's ready for that yet. Sheamus and Drew, we've seen, they've been there. I could see them doing it with Drew again. But, I mean, if they want to do the WrestleMania repeat and have Seth repeat history and try to cash in during the Brock and Roman match again and do it like that could be fun, but it's nothing new. It's Riddle's only chance to get another shot. So I could see them putting it on Riddle. I don't see Sami Zayn, but then you've got this hidden factor of this to be announced competitor that's going to be decided on SmackDown. You don't know who that's going to be. I don't even know like what the match is that's going to determine who it is, right? So it could be anybody. It could be anybody on the SmackDown roster. It could be anybody that didn't qualify on Raw that somehow comes over. So you just don't know. So it's impossible to predict that. But of the ones that we do know, my gut says either Seth Rollins or Riddle. And as much as it would be fun to relive history, I don't know. I think Riddle might get it. I think Riddle might take it because it's like his last chance. He can't challenge as long as Roman's champ, so this is his last chance. Is he going to get the title? No, I don't think so. But they could surprise me completely. And my predictions for WWE have not fared well for me in the past. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be Riddle. If it's not, it's going to be Rollins. But I think it might be Riddle. But again, caveat, I don't know who the last participant is. So those are my predictions for Money in the Bank. I said last episode that it was shaping up to be a decent card. And now looking at it and talking about it, it's like you got 4 championships on the line that I don't think are going to change hands. So that's kind of boring. Both of the women's challengers, no disrespect to Natalya or Carmella, I just don't see them pushing them with a world championship right now because, Ronda Rousey and Bianca Belair are hot and hot right now. And I just can't see they're at another level. And as good as Carmella and Natalya, I've always been a Carmella fan. I do think Mella is money. I think she is one of the underrated, and I've always thought Natalya was one of the best wrestlers in the ring. So I'm not saying anything, to disparage their in-ring abilities and skills. I just don't see them getting that push. And if they do, it's going to be an immediate cash in or something like that. So unfortunately, that's the way. The only one that's like I'm really on the fence about is the Usos and the Street Profits. That could surprise me, and the Street Profits get it. But I'm not as invested in this Theory Bobby Lashley feud. I'm not invested in either one of the women's matches really. Usos and Street Profits, it's going to be a fantastic match. It's going to be fun to watch, but the bloodline's very protected right now, so I just don't see them losing. So the ladder matches is going to be where the real interesting stuff comes in, and because of that, it's not as exciting of a card as I had hoped or as I thought originally. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they surprise me. Hopefully there's still some twists and turns to happen, maybe on SmackDown or leading into Money in the Bank, and hopefully we'll get a buy-in, or not a buy-in, a pre-show match. So we'll see. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about Money in the Bank. There's not much else to be said, so we'll see how my predictions fare for this event. That's going to wrap it up for me. So one more time, you can find past episodes of the show at allpodcast.com, awepodcast.com. That will take you to the YouTube channel where you can find all the past episodes. Or if you're an audio listener, you can find it at allpodcast.com/show. That will take you to our main hub for our audio, or you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you, if I can say it without being tongue-tied, wherever you get your podcasts from. And you can follow me at the Allcast across social media, and of course subscribe to the newsletter at allpodcast.com/subscribe. Let me know how you're enjoying this show. I'm still feeling my way through this, trying to get a decent schedule and a decent vibe for the show going. So I'd love your feedback, see what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like me to cover, all that good stuff. Leave that in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe so you don't miss any content, and the bell so you get all the notifications. And until next time, stay awesome. Keep watching wrestling.